The P-47D Thunderbolt was a single-seat fighter powered by a 2,300 horsepower Pratt & Whitney engine. Standing at just over 14 feet tall, it was 36 feet long and had a wingspan of nearly 41 feet. The aircraft was the heaviest fighter during the Second World War, weighing 3.5 tons when loaded.
One of the keys to the P-47's success is the fact that it had a radial engine, and it was a radial engine that was coupled with a large turbo supercharger. That turbo supercharger allowed it to fly at high altitude, to remain fast.
Armed with 8 50 caliber machine guns and 10 5-inch rockets or 1,500 pounds of bombs, the P-47 was a deadly pursuit aircraft. It has a maximum speed of 433 miles per hour, a cruising speed of 260 miles per hour, and a range of 1,100 miles with an auxiliary fuel tank. The P-47 took 6 minutes to climb 15,000 feet and 13.5 to reach 30,000 feet. The service ceiling for the aircraft was 40,000 feet. At 10,000 feet, it had a maximum range of 800 miles and 390 miles at 25,000 feet.
Something to point out about the P-47 too is that it's not unlike a multi-role fighter today. It could be used for escort, it could be used for ground attack. In other words, it wasn't useful for just one mission alone. But the real forte of the P-47 was ground attack. It could carry heavy amount of weaponry, a devastating firepower with the 850 caliber machine guns, and plus also it could take a lot of damage.
By the time of the P-47's arrival, the Luftwaffe, the RAF, and the U.S. Army Air Forces were hammering Britain and Europe. The Allies knew that dominance in the air could lead to decisive victory in Europe and had high expectations for this new component of their arsenal. The P-47 brought the endurance and vicious firepower needed to protect bombing missions.
When the P-47 came in, a very, very competent commander, Hub Zemke, was given command of the 56th Fighter Wing. And he had 2 tasks. One, he had to create this new combat fighter wing, and he had to create it with a brand new airplane, which was really formidable. And he was really worried because you get young fighter pilots right out of flying school, hand them this hot airplane, they go out and do things and kill themselves. And he had a high loss rate because they were exceeding their capabilities in the airplane and sometimes exceeding the airplane's capability. But he was a tough disciplinarian, and over time he reined them in, and he finally got them going. So they got to Europe in late 1942 and into combat in the first months of 1943. And when they arrived with this big, huge airplane, the British almost laughed at them because it dwarfed the Spitfire, and they felt that it would just not be possible to use in combat.
The P-47 got its first taste of battle in April 1943, and although some of the concerns raised by the skeptics were fulfilled, the promise of the plane was readily apparent.